My knee's been talking to me and not in a polite whisper. If you caught my post the other day about my knee, you know that I've had to change how I'm training. My goal hasn't changed, the timeline hasn't changed, but the way I'm getting there looks a little different now. I said I was going to focus more on strength, mobility, and smarter training instead of just piling on the miles, and that's what I totally did. I wanted to just jack it up so I was walking a lot. Well, today I want to talk about one piece of that, stretching, because I've honestly become the queen of saying, I'll do it later. And you know, later never comes. I want to tell you a funny story. Back in the day, I loved dance, and I would take dance classes, and at the studio where I was, they would offer adult dance classes quite frequently. But without fail, after like 4 weeks, all the adults would have dropped out and it would just be me. So she'd put me in a class with 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds, whatever. I did pom with, I think, 11-year-olds. Can you put your hair in a high pony? Yes, I can. It was cute. Anyway, the first time that happened, they put me in a class with 7-year-olds who were all just learning how to do the splits. And I used to be super, super flexible. And so I was just like, she's like, let's everybody do the splits. I go down in the splits, but all the other little girls couldn't necessarily do it. And so she held me up as this example of flexibility to little kids. And if Ms. Lori can do the splits, you can do the splits. Back then, flexibility was my thing. It was my jam. I was super flexible. And stretching was easy. And there was never a time when I worked out that I didn't stretch afterwards. I don't believe in stretching ahead of the thing because your muscles aren't warm. So I always stretched afterwards. And I did it without fail. But now that it's harder, it becomes that thing, well, I'll get to that someday. And you know that someday it never comes. I can tell you exactly when I lost my ability to do the splits, when my flexibility started going. My mom was really sick in 2009, October, and I went out there to be with her for the last year of her life. And I was sleeping on the couch. You know how that is. I was not eating right. I was not sleeping right. And after that was all over with, I couldn't do the splits anymore. Like, my flexibility went right out the window in the month of October of 2009. I am pretty sure that I mentioned it before, that one of the off-season hiking things I was going to focus on was stretching, because I noticed it when I was hiking. I wasn't able to, like, we were on these rocks, and I just couldn't get my step to go up that high. And I felt like if I'd been stretching all along, I might have been able to just step up that rock. So stretching has been on my agenda ever since hiking season last year ended. And I know I just went into this training for the 50K without adding that to my program. Oh, I'll get to it. Y'all, I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you today. We need to stretch. And now I've actually added it to my program because I know if it's there, I'm going to check it off. I want to check it off. If it's there, I'm going to do it. And when my knee started hurting last week, I knew that was what it was. I knew it because my hip has been like that too. My left hip, my right knee. And you know, when you're feeling pain in one area because you haven't stretched, eventually you're going to compensate for that pain by walking. Your gait's going to be different. So then the stretching in other areas is going to show up. So I knew that it was stretching that I needed to do. But I feel really proud of myself because in the past, I would have just kept going. I would have just kept walking. Oh, my knee hurts, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to keep piling up the mileage that I need to do this 50K. And who knows, I might have gotten to April and not been able to do it at all. So As we get older, our muscles and tendons, they're not as forgiving as they used to be. They shorten and they stiffen, and if we don't take care of them, we'll lose our range of motion. Balance goes, injuries creep in. And I'm saying this to myself as much as I'm saying it to you. Stop pretending that you're going to stretch later. Later is when soreness shows up. Later is when stiffness takes over. And later is when you're going to regret not doing it. It may not feel glamorous, but here's the thing. It keeps us moving freely. And that freedom, that's what I'm after. So if you saw my post about my knee on Friday, this is the follow-up. This is the adjustment. This is what being an aging rebel looks like. Not ignoring the pain, not pushing through just to prove something, but doing what it takes to keep moving long term. When it's easy, but when it's harder, that's the exact moment to do it. Later is too late. Later's the cost. So let's stretch now because we don't want to lose the freedom that we have to move tomorrow. And I would love it if you would subscribe to my challenge. We have no challenge here. Subscribe to my channel. And if you have any aging rebel friends who need to come along, let them know that I'm here. And I'd love to know what your challenges are and cheer you through them in the comments. I love talking to you guys. And so let me know if you have any challenges, and I will see you next time.